Hi Geminis, and welcome to your February 2019 Tarology 33 bonus love reading. My apologies for getting these out a little late. I know when I had posted the original general February readings for Gemini, I said they'd be up about a week or so after that, and it's been a little bit longer. But for those of you who don't know, basically, first of all, this is a thank you for your January reading having the most views, likes, new subscribers, and the format of this reading, it's different than the generals. Basically, I use a different deck for one. The main deck that I use here is the Lover's Path Tarot, as opposed to the Rider-Waite Tarot. And the spread is also different. It's a variation of the past, present, future spread. So basically what it represents is this card here represents your past influence on a potential relationship with your main love interest. This would be their past influence. This is your present influence, their present influence, the likely outcome for the connection, and then we also have an oracle card similar to what we do with the general readings to help tie everything together. So with that said, let's get started going through the cards one by one. So the card representing your past influence on a potential connection, we have the Seven of Coins. So this is the equivalent of the Seven of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite deck. But as you can see, the artwork is a little bit different for those of you familiar with the original Rider-Waite artwork. So what I see here is a couple of potential things could be going on. One is there could be a pretty big age difference between the two of you. That's just what I see there with the two different people. Looks like this person's clearly older. I don't know if that would be like an older sister or mother, but either way, when we're putting it in the context of a love reading, I'm getting the vibe of a pretty big age gap potentially. Or this could just be their perception of you. Now I'm leaning towards saying that this person represents the love interest and then this would represent you, because this looks similar to the woman that's also in the card representing their past influence on the situation. So it could just be that that's how they view you. Maybe you actually are a lot younger than them. Maybe they view you as being a bit immature, whether you are or not, right? And then another way that we could look at this is maybe they look down on you in some way, shape, or form. That's probably the least likely of the scenarios. But if we also look at the Seven of Pentacles and the Rider-Waite now, if we want to factor in that artwork, that looks like someone who, they have like the Six Pentacles off to one side, and then another one that looks like they're working in a field and trying to grow those pentacles. So what I'm getting here is that it's possible that you guys are the ones making offers in the past. That's the main vibe that I'm getting. And, if we want to look at this as energy too, this is actually a Taurus card. So for those of you who have your Mercury or even your Venus in the last 10 degrees of Taurus, this would definitely resonate with you a little bit more. But yeah, that's the main vibe that I'm getting, is that most likely there were offers being made and maybe they just weren't being taken seriously. That's probably the best way to say it. Whatever offers you were making might not have been taken seriously. And then their past influence on the potential relationship, we have the Six of Coins. So this is the equivalent of the Six of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite deck. And now, like I was saying there, this looks kind of similar to me to the woman that's in the Seven of Coins. So that's why I was saying it's possible that they're represented in the card right there. And that could be that they might be the one who's older, so they might be older than you. But another way this could play out as well, given that you're represented by the Seven and they're represented by the Six, it could actually be flipped. It could be that actually they feel that you're ahead of them in some way, shape, or form. Because, if you're at Seven of Coins and they're at Six of Coins, then okay, that would say that in some way, shape, or form, whether it, like I said, be an age gap, or just, maybe income. Maybe you make more money than them, or vice versa. It just seems like there's some kind of imbalance there. But the interesting thing is, if we think about the Six of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite deck, that actually represents balance. So, maybe that's them trying to catch up, for example. But what really sticks out to me about this artwork in particular, for those of you familiar with the Five of Pentacles, it has the, it's like two people walking outside. It looks like they're in pretty bad shape, and it looks like there's a snowstorm. If we look at the artwork here, If I could get it to zoom and focus a bit. Yeah. So if you look there, it looks like there's snow in the background, and then there's this guy bringing a sixth pentacle. So what I see this as potentially is this could also be someone who's just a bit depressed in the past, and maybe you didn't realize that, right? So maybe let's say that each of these pentacles represents offers you were making. Maybe you were sending them text messages, maybe calling them, whatever the case may be. Asking them, hey, do you want to hang out? Do you want to hang out? And maybe it seemed like they weren't responding, right? And then maybe that's what had you in that Seven of Pentacles energy. Like, really, is it even worth me putting in more effort, right? You might have been on the fence about do you even want to keep trying or not. Because, I mean, if the reason I say that is looking at the Pentacles, clearly she has the five there. So, again, going back to that Five of Pentacles vibe. And then this being the sixth one, right? So, this could have just been another offer from you. And if you look at the person's face, they don't really look like they're all that thrilled, right? But not even in general. Like, it's not even like they're looking at the pinnacle. They're just off in their own world. So that's what I'm saying. For some of you, this person might have been depressed, and maybe you were just unaware of that. With the Five of Pentacles energy there, too, like I said, even though this is the six, this could definitely be a Taurus, too. So some of you could definitely be dealing with a Taurus. And maybe that's what it was too. Maybe they just had their focus elsewhere, and Gemini and Taurus energy, that could be a bit tricky to deal with, especially in the early stages, because you might want to be a lot more talkative, and you might feel like their responses is slow, right? So that would be that Seven of Pentacles energy where you feel like things are moving really slow, and you're like, what's going on? Is this person into me or not into me? They just might be like off in their own world, thinking about something else. But I mean, the interesting thing is, though, the main takeaway here, though, is you guys were both coming out of that in the past influence with pentacles or coins energy. So this really could just be you guys are both more focused on finances too, more than anything as far as love related. So maybe that was the main obstacle that you guys had going on in the past. But yeah, like I said, with that, I'm getting the vibe that some of you could definitely be dealing with a Taurus, because these are both Taurus cards. Like I said too, it could definitely be the fact that, especially those of you who have your Mercury or your Venus in Taurus, a lot of Geminis have that placement, so that's not too uncommon, but that could be what we're really seeing there. But the good news is, especially in the context of a love reading, if we go into the present position, you guys are both in the same element again. So moving from the Pentacles or Coins energy to Cups energy. So that's definitely positive potential there. But your influence on the potential relationship in the present is the Nine of Cups. There's the artwork for it there. So this artwork gives a different vibe off to me compared to the Rider-Waite one. The Rider-Waite one, you just have the guy with the 9 cups behind them with their arms crossed with a bit, can be perceived as a smug look, depending on how you want to look at it. Others, it could just be that they're content, either way. It looks like they're just in a very relaxed, receptive energy. Whereas here with the Nine of Cups, it looks more like someone manifesting, right? Like it's like this would represent your cup, and it's almost like with her arms spread there, it's almost like she's manifesting those other cups, right? And if we think about the 10 of Cups in the Rider-Waite, it's that rainbow with the 10 cups. So this could just be saying that you're in a manifestation mode and you're moving closer to that 10 of Cups. That's certainly a possibility. If we have to look at it from a potential downside, though, is, this could just be saying that maybe you're not seeing things too clearly, too, because, again, these are cups being manifested in the sky. So maybe in your mind, things are moving ahead further than they really are. And the only reason I say that could be the case is if we look at their present influence on a potential relationship, they have the 3 of Cups. So it's definitely positive that you guys are both in Cups energy right now. Like I said, even though you would think, all right, you guys were both in Pentacle energy in the past, that's a positive as well. Maybe, but I mean, the two energies didn't seem to mesh too well. Whereas here, 3 of Cups, this is definitely a celebratory type of mood. So again, maybe if this person was depressed, or maybe whatever, even if it wasn't that they were depressed, if they were just shut out in some way, maybe they were, again, if they were focusing on finances, Maybe now, they're out of that phase and are actually ready to get out and celebrate. Maybe they have something to celebrate, for example. That's certainly a possibility. But the one thing to keep in mind, though, going back to a theme that I touched on earlier, is again, what do we see? We see you with the 7 of coins here, then with the 6. And now we see you with the 9 of cups and then with the 3. So again, it could be going back to that age gap that I was talking about. Maybe some of you, it's just an age difference. So one of you is ahead of the other. It at least appears here that it would be you who was ahead of them. And like I said, that doesn't have to necessarily just be years. It could be experience. Like I said, maybe some of them felt that you were ahead of them financially and they perceived that as maybe they didn't want that type of dynamic. Maybe that was how they were looking at it. Like, well, I don't want to be with someone who has more than me, you know what I mean? So that's maybe how they were looking at it. And they're like, I want someone who's more on my level, right? Maybe because they would have felt a little bit insecure about that in some way, shape, or form. Um, but for a lot of you, I really get the vibe that this person just might have been down. They might have actually, and you might have been unaware of this, but if we just look at the way that those 2 pentacles are there with that snowy background, to me, it might have been that they had just gone through a breakup, and this could have been saying that they had a lot of people who were interested in them, but everyone's offers, they weren't even paying them any mind. The offers were coming through, but they had zero interest in it. They were still reflecting on and trying to recover from that past relationship. Um, so, if that's the case, it looks like they're definitely out and about again, but that doesn't necessarily automatically mean that that would be a connection with you. Could just be saying that they're out celebrating with friends again, right? I mean, if we look at the artwork here, it's like 3 women together. Could be sisters, could be friends, whatever the case may be, but this could definitely represent a bit of a party atmosphere. But you, as the 9 of cups, though, it definitely seems like you're in a bit of a manifesting mode, though. So it's certainly a possibility that it really was just a thing that they were going through something. Maybe they didn't feel comfortable telling you about it, whatever the case may be, and or maybe you guys just weren't that close to begin with, to where they would have told you what they were going through, and might not have felt that comfortable. And maybe now that you see them coming out of that energy, now you're ready to make a move again. Like, okay, maybe you're feeling more optimistic about it. Because sometimes when someone's going through something and they're feeling down, you might not know what the source is, but that could rub off on you in a way too, right? So if you were making advances towards them and it wasn't going anywhere, it might have, you might have been feeling a certain type of way about it too. And now that they're out and about and feeling better, that naturally will rub off on you in that way as well. In the outcome position, we have the wisdom card in reverse. So this is the equivalent of the High Priestess, and I'll just hold it in the upright while we talk about the artwork. Um, so in the upright, this is definitely different than the Rider-Waite artwork, right? As far as there's actually 2 people in the picture. And when I was doing this reading for someone else recently, and I got this card, I was talking about how, to me, this represents someone who, rather than flat out ask the other person something about themselves, they might just really be doing research. I think it might have been a Scorpio reading I was doing in the past where I was like, this to me looks like someone in research mode, trying to feel the other person out, So that could have been what this person was doing with you. Maybe they were looking at your offers, and like I said, that would go back to maybe where they weren't taking you very seriously, right? Like maybe they were viewing you as a bit more mature. So maybe they were looking at your offers coming in and really trying to feel you out and see, okay, is this person serious? Are they not serious? You know what I mean? And then from your perspective, if that's you, you might be like, you could just, why don't you just ask me? If there's something on your mind, why don't you just come out and ask me? Because if we look here, this person has a sword too. So that could definitely represent air energy, obviously. So if we were to say that that's you, this is the other person, then yeah, could just be saying that they were just trying to feel you out for a long time, and not really being too upfront about what was going on in their mind, because the High Priestess is someone who's very intuitive, very in control of their emotions. But then another way that could come off too is someone who could also come across as a bit secretive. So, for example, this could easily be someone who has earth placements and then water placements, and then maybe that's it's been a little bit tough for you to get through to them as an air energy where you're like, all right, where do I stand with this person? But now if that in the reverse, wisdom in reverse doesn't mean that you guys are both going to be idiots all of a sudden, right? It just means to me that this is more that maybe this person is coming out of that energy and they're finally ready to speak, right? They're finally ready. And that would certainly make sense again, too, going with that theme that if they were going through a bit of a depressed mode for a bit, now they're feeling better. Maybe now they're actually ready to move forward and come out and talk to you, right? Whatever they were going through, maybe they're ready to speak up about it in some way, shape, or form. And another possibility, since I did mention the age gap thing, is maybe they were in school, because if we look at the book there. So maybe, you'd already gone through school. If we look at that sword as representing, potential educational attainment, right? Maybe you were done with college or whatever the case may be. This person was still in it. And, maybe they thought that maybe that was why they were turning down offers too. They're like, I can't, get distracted with a relationship right now. I have to focus on getting this degree, right? And you might have been already out of school and you're like, oh, well, what's the deal, And now maybe that's what their celebration was about. They might have graduated recently, maybe like in the fall semester of last year, let's say, and now they're feeling better. Or maybe they just had financial concerns in general that they were trying to take care of. Maybe they are taken care of now, especially if it's an earth sign, They really need to feel like their finances are in order. I mean, we all do to a certain extent, because bills need to be paid no matter what you sign. But for them, they could really feel thrown a bit off kilter if that's not going well for them. So maybe now they're just feeling better about that. And as a result, they're actually coming out and talking to you more because at the bottom of the deck, we do have the tradition card. So this is actually the equivalent of the Hierophant in the Rider-Waite. And if we look at it there, it does look like a committed relationship, right? And again, this is actually another Taurus card too. So I'm definitely getting the vibe that either you or the other person, possibly both of you, has pretty heavy Taurus energy somewhere in your chart. These are both Taurus cards, like I said. So is that. That's the major arcana for Taurus. So there's definitely like that Taurus energy there. But yeah, with the tradition there, that could just be saying that this definitely has potential to move into a steady relationship. And like I said, maybe it's just that one or both of you were just focused on finances in the past. Now you guys are both in that cup energy, which is obviously going to be better for a love relationship. But, do keep in mind, like I said, there's no guarantee of anything here either. So don't get too comfortable necessarily. I think, I don't necessarily see this as a continuation of last month's bonus love reading, but it could be. Because I think at the end of that one, I was saying that, it felt like things had the potential to move forward for you guys, but one or both of you had to pull your heads out of your asses and make something happen. So this could be the same connection, and this is still saying that, okay, now the energy is more supportive, but you guys still need to talk. So maybe if that's what's been going on. This definitely looks like neither of you were in the best place because, again, even if we look at the Rider-Waite version of this card, that person doesn't look very happy either. So maybe both of you guys are going through some things, and it could have been finance related in the past, but now these are definitely way more positive cards in the present for both of you. And with the wisdom, like I said, in reverse, even though that might not sound that good, to me that could represent that finally someone's coming out of feeling things out and they're actually going to talk. So, and as an air sign, you could understand that obviously that's pretty important. So, we'll take a look at the Oracle card though, see what that adds to the mix. The card that you guys got is Go to Distance. Here's the artwork for it, and the number is 47, if that has any significance for you. All right. And that with the tradition slash Hierophant card, it definitely sounds like this does have potential to be something long term, but we'll see. It says essential meanings: endurance, strength, the long haul. The Oracle's message: to bring your dream to life, you must think long term and pay no attention to the fluctuations and the current of your experience. Joy and disappointment commingle with opportunities, so there is no need to fear the occasional obstacle. Life is not a sprint. This card is a reminder that you have endurance, strength, and fortitude to carry you all the way. Remain true to yourself. Your authenticity alone will keep you in alignment with the energy of miracles. What is yours will never be withheld from you. Remember that. Okay, and then the relationship message says you either are in or are calling in a harmonious relationship that can stand the test of time. For better or worse, as you ride the ups and downs and even strain, break yourself, and are remade in new growth, you are being redeemed by the power of regeneration. Harmony does not mean there will never be a wrong note played, but that the relationship is marked by endurance and dedication to overall unity. A new song can be written, an instrument can be tuned, and the symphony of love will play on. Listen with your heart. Isn't it magnificent? So some interesting things came out to me there. You either are in or are calling in a harmonious relationship. Are calling in a harmonious relationship. That made me think of what I was saying with the Nine of Cups artwork there, that maybe you're in a manifesting mode. So, maybe your energy, maybe both of your energies were just off and not conducive to a love relationship in the past for whatever reason. Like I said, whether this person was depressed, or both of you were depressed, or both of you were just focused on finances. Neither of you might have been bringing the best energy forward for a potential love relationship. And now with both of you in that Cups energy, at least it looks like you might be better off. Like I said, the only potential downside could be if that age difference thing is something that I was picking up on and that ends up playing out for you guys. If you really are ahead of them in that way, with that Three of Cups, that's the only bad possible thing that I see here. If there's any negative to take away, it could be that, maybe they still need to get some partying out of their system, and maybe that Nine of Cups for you represents saying that you're ready for that Ten of Cups. You're trying to bring that into your life. This person's still at the Three of Cups stage. But overall, I really just view this more like energetically saying that you guys are both in way better energy now than you were before for a potential relationship to get off the ground. And with the wisdom in reverse, like I said there, that could definitely be a good sign as far as one or both of you coming out of that trying to feel each other out phase and actually trying to, talk things out. So that's the positive. But like I said, there's so many Geminis out there, there's no way that it would resonate for everyone, but that's what I would say, definitely seems pretty positive overall. But for some of you, if that's the vibe, if that thing that I felt really resonates more with you, that there's a big age gap in some way, shape, or form, this could just be saying that they have quite a ways to go. And maybe that could be saying that you come out of that mental fog and you realize that now, and maybe you call in a new relationship saying, all right, I'm just going to leave this behind me. This person is, a bit behind, and you could either decide if you wanted to wait for them, obviously, or move on. But for the majority of you, this really does look like you guys are more on the same wavelength now. To an extent, you were in the past, but again, it just wasn't as good of a wavelength for relationships. Now you seem to be more on that same page in a positive way, and now this does have the potential to be something that lasts long. But it also seems, again, with the tradition card, which is the Hierophant / Taurus card, go the distance, could just be saying that things might move a bit slow. So you have to decide if you'd be happy with that too, because maybe that's all it's saying too. You guys are moving in the same direction, right? Move from the Pentacles to Cups, but you just move faster than them. So you're already at 9, they're still at 3. So you might just have to accept that they might not move as quickly in certain areas as you do. All right, guys, we'll wrap up there. Thanks again, like I said, for having the most views, subscribers, and likes in the previous videos, and I'll see you guys next month. Bye.